right, everybody. 2024 election results in the swing state of Nevada. This is the first episode of the series where we're going to deep dive each of the swing states and why Donald Trump won them. As we can see here with the 2024 election, Trump won it not so narrowly, 50.59% to 47.49%, so a comfortable 3% margin. 751,205 total votes to 705,197 votes. And of course, it went for 6 electoral votes. Now, I predicted in my map that Trump would end up winning this state, but I was not alone in this, as if we go down to predictions, we can see here that the aggregate of polls, 270 to win, 538 silver bullets in the Hill, pretty reputable. Although slim chances, right, these slim margins, all had Trump winning. Now, the reason that we were told and we thought this is such a close election going forward, and when we were in those stages in November where we were thinking Trump's probably going to win Nevada, is because if we go to 270 to win, the general consensus was that he was going to be able to win North Carolina, Georgia, Arizona, and that puts you at 262 if you're Trump, right? And if you get that Nevada, which it was likely, still only at 268, right? So that still made this a very tight election, because if Kamala was able to pull off all 3 of the WIMPA states, that of course gives her that 270 mark to win. So that's why we still didn't know New Hampshire here. That's why we still didn't know what's going to happen with the election. But there was a fair amount of confidence that Trump was going to end up winning Nevada. And then, as you can see here, out of the 7 swing states, the Nevada right here, Nevada margin of victory, 3%, tied with North Carolina for 3%, tied for second in terms of highest margin, right behind Arizona. So it was a pretty good feel that Trump was going to win this, and that is kind of unprecedented, because as you look back in the history here, the 4 elections before that, a Democrat had won it. It wasn't until George W. Bush won it in 2004 and 2000 that a Republican had won it, even the 2 election cycles before that, and then the 4 that followed. So a little bit of a rare win, too, in some regards, but it was kind of expected. Let's look at why this happened. And I want you guys to see the state here. Look at this map. Pretty red, right? Makes a lot of sense. And you'd think, oh, this makes perfect sense because Trump won this state and won the election. But let's go back to 2020 for a second. So Trump versus Biden. Biden, of course, won this election and won this state. Map does not look all that different. Still pretty red. You're going to have your blue counties here, Washoe and Clark County. I mean, this looks like almost the same map, 2020 and 2024. And voter turnout was down a little bit in 2024. So we're kind of wondering, like, how does Trump pull this off? How does he do this? Well, we do have to look at these counties. Now, there's 17 counties in Nevada, and most of these, we'll go right down to the by-county results here. So it's a great breakdown of by county exactly what happened here. So you got your 17 counties listed here, and then your results. As you can see, just two wins for Kamala Harris here. Wow, makes a lot of sense. Trump won this. But if we go to 2020, the same by county, 2 counties again for the Democrats, but this time Biden was able to pull it off and win this state. Let's talk about why that happened. But first, we should understand these counties and understand Nevada, right? So it doesn't matter what county set we're looking at. I'll just go to 2024, though. These 15 counties are very small in comparison to Washoe and Clark County. And they're all about 75 to 90% white. And if we look at some exit polls here, white people in Nevada, now again, this is just 3,473 respondents. There was about 1.4 million, but we do follow exit polls pretty closely when we talk about election results. White people, 54% clip for Republicans, right? So if you're getting in these counties 75 to 90% white, you're getting the majority. I mean, it's 10% more than Democrats. I mean, just look at blacks, 82%. Hispanic, very tight, but white is a good margin. And so these counties here, it makes sense that Trump would win them, and they would help for his victory. Let's talk about Clark and Washoe conversely. Well, Washoe is still pretty white at 77%, but it's 22% Hispanic and a pretty diverse and urban county. For context, It has nearly 500,000 people, and it's the second biggest county in Nevada. The next closest, the third biggest county in Nevada, has only 62,000. And we know an urban voter is more likely to lean blue, and so that just explains Washoe County. You're going to see a lot of Democratic votes coming from there, and as you can see, 130,000 in this election, and a tight margin, but still a win in Washoe. And then Clark County, of course, the home to the like Las Vegas metro area, one of the tourism capitals of the world. Um, just 38% white, 33% Hispanic, and then very diverse, like 10-12% black to 10-12% Asian, very diverse along that scale. So it makes a lot of sense why this would lean blue, as again, those ethnicities tend to go to the left. But it's important to know. So why did this happen? Why did Trump win? Why did Kamala lose? Right? If we look at this, Kamala got about 50.44% or 50.5% of the vote from Clark County. It's a major county. I mean, look at these votes: 493,000 votes out of a total of 751,000 for Trump. I mean, it's a monster amount. 520,000 votes for Kamala out of 705,000, just huge. And she only got 50.44%. Conversely, we go to Biden, up in that 53.66% area. I mean, a little over 3% more of a difference there. And just think, Biden won by a couple points against Trump, and then the next election, Trump wins by only a couple points against Kamala. I mean, this is a big deal when we're talking about such a major part of the total population of votes in the state. I mean, there was a 1.4 million votes cast here, and as you can see, 520,000, 493,000. I mean, about a million of them were cast. Yeah, right here, 1,031,000 were cast in Clark County. It's just a monster amount. And then again, Washoe County 263,000, and that was Democrat. And this was slightly an underperformance from Kamala, 49.32% here in the vote, and then against Biden's getting 50.82% of the vote. And this is a big deal again when you're talking about such big parts of the total number of 1.4 million. A reason that Biden had performed so well in Clark County and had performed so well in Nevada, you do hear a lot about that Hispanic vote, and I've talked about that before in this state. Clark County and Vegas, the tourism capital of the world, a lot of Hispanic people working in those service industries and in the food industries there that end up being voters and had went for Democrats, as we can see in these previous elections down here, ended up going for Trump. Now let's talk a little bit about that. We talked about white people being, and this is a lot overwhelmingly, you'll see this pattern across the country, like 54% of white people going Republican. Now that might even be a little bit low in terms of the average of the other states. Hispanic and Latino, pretty remarkable, goes to 49% for Trump. Huge deal. I mean, there's a huge Hispanic population here. I mean, we talked about just in Clark County, which is home to a couple million people. Hispanic population right there was 33% of it. I mean, that's a massive number of Hispanics, and they go for Trump. They did not go for Trump in 2020. They did not go. They went for Biden, and that carried Biden to this election. The white people sort of stayed the same, but you saw this swing right here. Black sort of stayed the same, but the Hispanic people really came out in waves and helped Trump. Why was that? We're not exactly sure why. Now we can see a big chart that maybe shows why. As you can see, there was a lot of thoughts, hypotheses on the left and the right about what would be the biggest issue, what would carry it. And I think the right was banking on the economy, and the left was banking on abortion and things like healthcare. And as you can see, the issues that decided the 2024 election in Nevada from AP, the share of voters who said each issue was the most important facing the country in 2024: economy, and then second, immigration. And the polling, I mean, whether your opinion was, hey, I voted for Kamala because I thought she'd be better on the border, or I voted for Trump because I thought he'd be better with healthcare, the aggregate polling, the averages we saw is that America trusted Kamala more with healthcare and abortion rights, and Trump more with immigration and the economy. And as you can see, that ended up being the biggest drivers here in this state. If some of these were flipped, if abortion was 41%, I think Kamala wins the state easily. And I think we're talking a little bit less about that Hispanic influence. I think we're just saying the state as a whole has trended blue, and it trended blue again. Immigration, again, 21%, and a lot of the polls had Trump favored in that department, as people saying they thought he'd take better care of that, and it shows with these two issues being the biggest, and Trump kind of pulling a little bit of an upset. And Nevada is something you thought in the last couple of elections, hey, this is probably going to go blue. Now, again, like we talked about weeks before the election, people were starting to see the tide turn, but the economy and the immigration were such huge factors here, and it just looks like that Hispanic population ended up saying, hey, those votes that we casted for Biden in 2020, those votes that came from the Hispanic workers in Clark County and Las Vegas and in the service industry went, hey, we're going to go for Trump for reasons that we believe, hey, he's going to be better with the border, he's going to be better with the economy, and it ends up getting a win for Trump in a state that he didn't need necessarily, as we talked about. I mean, the math, he would have much rather have Pennsylvania than Nevada if he could pick one. I mean, he ended up getting both, but it was still a big win, and it was a swing state that was down to the wire for a long time. It took a long time to count those results and see what happened. Stay tuned because we're going to be doing deep dives into every state of the swing states, and we're going to have that video out for you guys soon. Let me know what you guys want to see more in the comments. Like, subscribe, comment, negative, positive, your thoughts, your predictions, whatever. I love doing this stuff for you guys, and look forward to the next one. Thank you.